until I get my cue. In 3, 2.
Hi, my name is Tom Friend, and I'm going to share with you today the story of how jet age dogfights were the dawn of Scrum. In the age of legends, there was wind in your face, a silk scarf, and the roar of the propeller. Aircraft capability improved incrementally through iterative development for decades until World War II. In World War II, the Messerschmitt 262 Swallow changed everything. Jet engines met fighter aviation. This convergence of technology radically changed the combat aviation equation. In 1944, a Messerschmitt Swallow had a run-in with a Royal Air Force Mosquito over Italy. Ironically, swallows eat mosquitoes. The significance of the event? It was the first jet fighter victory in history. This was a similar outcome in future encounters. By the end of the war, the Swallow squadrons claimed over 500 victories. As impressive as this was, it had negligible impact on the outcome of the war. It did, however, have massive impact on the future of fighter aviation. The designs captured from Germany were used by Russia and the United States to create the MiG15 and the F86 Sabre. These two fighters first met in Korea's MiG Alley in 1950. The Sabres and MiGs would meet head-on at over 1,000 miles an hour to do battle. The speed was a blur. The reaction time needed pushed the limits of pilots and aircraft. From this chaos, a maverick named John Boyd emerged to forge the tactics and training using an iterative decision loop he called OODA, Observe, Orient, Decide, Act, a fighter aviation standard still used today. The Sabre and MiG were equally matched for air combat. Despite this, the victory ratio was 10-1 in favor of the Sabre. The key factor to victory? Pilot training and tactics. As Chuck Yeager said, it isn't the plane that's important, it's the pilot. The full OODA loop is complex. Advantage comes from quickness of completing the loop. Speed of feedback as opposed to rigid adherence provides focus and alignment, creating hyperproductive fighter-pilot teams. Stable fighter teams. Wingman, remember Top Gun? Jester? That was great flying, right up to the part where you got killed. You never, ever, ever leave your wingman. Pilot and interactions. Now a different context, hardware and software. Decades of incremental improvement led to a convergence of capability and processing power in IT. This disruptor brought IT leaders together to create the Agile Manifesto to address complexity in this new age. One of the group, Dr. Jeff Sutherland, knew John Boyd well as a fighter pilot in Vietnam. As patterns repeat themselves, the Scrum Framework was one solution presented to counter complexity. You operate inside your opponent's loop to influence outcome. With OODA, you iterate with the objective outcome of victory. In Scrum, you iterate with the objective outcome of your sprint goal. The loops let you see change more rapidly than you would otherwise. Eastern War Theory, orthodox Chang, and unorthodox Chi. In its basic form, plan and debrief, people and interactions talk and listen. Feedback is central to the adaptive nature of both OODA and Scrum. In aviation, this is the plan, brief, execute, debrief cycle. It applies principles, practices, processes, and experience to the iterative loop. The key to victory in OODA and Scrum is the debrief or retrospective in order to learn and improve from your execution. Pilots call the output lessons learned, and they are quite literally written in the blood of the experience of their fellow pilots. Do loops right? Accuracy and speed improve together. They don't trade off. With OODA and Scrum, you continually get better. You get better through experience. Clausewitz, an 18th century German general, said, "We do not gain all our experience at once, but by degrees." This is also in the Scrum Guide. Knowledge comes from experience and making decisions based on what is known. Clausewitz also asserted the essence of war is a struggle between two hostile, independent, irreconcilable wills each trying to impose itself on the other, a truth seen in many of our meetings between business, technology, and QA. So the story is told. You live the legacy of the Knights of the Sky. We part now with the traditional closing at the end of a mission brief. Happy hunting. And may I add, scrum like a fighter pilot. Thanks.